Tired of the endless chase for results? Discover how to transform your approach to success and become the embodiment of your goals. The audiobook Don't Look for Results, Become the Result reveals powerful strategies to shift your focus from outcomes to personal growth. Learn to cultivate resilience, find flow, and celebrate the journey. Don't miss out on unlocking your true potential and navigating life's challenges with confidence and purpose. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1. Begin with purpose. In the journey of personal growth and achievement, we often find ourselves caught up in the whirlwind of goals, tasks, and deadlines. We chase after results, believing that once we reach a certain milestone, we'll find the fulfillment we seek. But what if the key to true success and satisfaction lies not in the destination, but in the very essence of why we embark on this journey in the first place? This is where purpose comes into play. Purpose is the bedrock upon which all meaningful action is built. It's the compass that guides us through the storms of life, the anchor that keeps us steady when waves of doubt and uncertainty crash against us. But purpose isn't just some lofty ideal. It's a practical, powerful tool that can transform the way we approach every aspect of our lives. As we begin this transformative journey together, it's crucial to understand that identifying and embracing your purpose is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of discovery, refinement, and alignment. Throughout this chapter, we'll explore the profound impact that purpose can have on your life and provide you with the tools to uncover and articulate your own unique purpose. Let's start by distinguishing between purpose and goals. While goals are specific objectives we aim to achieve, purpose is the underlying reason why those goals matter to us. Your purpose is your personal mission statement. It's the driving force behind your actions, the reason you get out of bed each morning, and the legacy you want to leave behind. Consider for a moment the difference between someone who exercises because they want to lose weight and someone who exercises because they want to be healthy enough to play with their grandchildren. The goal might be similar, improved fitness, but the purpose behind it creates a vastly different level of motivation and commitment. This is why purpose matters so much in the process of personal growth. When we're clear about our purpose, we're more resilient in the face of obstacles. We're more likely to persevere when things get tough because we understand the deeper significance of our efforts. Purpose turns the mundane into the meaningful, transforming even the most routine tasks into steps toward something greater. But how do we uncover our purpose? It starts with identifying our core values. These are the principles that guide our decisions and shape our character. They're the non-negotiables, the beliefs that we hold dear even when they're challenged. To discover your core values, reflect on the moments in your life when you felt most alive, most fulfilled. What was happening? What mattered most to you in those moments? Think about the times when you felt angry or frustrated. Often, these emotions arise when our values are violated. By examining these experiences, we can begin to piece together the values that form the foundation of our purpose. Once you've identified your core values, the next step is to craft a personal purpose statement. This statement should be clear, concise, and inspiring. It should resonate with you on a deep level and serve as a guiding light for your decisions and actions. A strong purpose statement has several key components. It should express your unique contribution to the world, reflect your values, and inspire both yourself and others. It's not about what you do, but why you do it and the impact you want to have. As you craft your purpose statement, don't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. This is a living document that will evolve as you grow and gain new insights. The important thing is to start somewhere and refine it over time. With your purpose statement in hand, the real work begins. embedding this purpose into your daily life. This means setting intentions that align with your purpose, making decisions through the lens of your purpose, and regularly reflecting on how your actions are contributing to your overarching mission. One powerful way to stay connected to your purpose is to start each day by reading your purpose statement and setting an intention for how you'll live it out. This simple practice can dramatically shift your focus and energy, helping you approach even the most challenging days with clarity and motivation. As you move through your day, use your purpose as a decision-making tool. When faced with choices, big or small, ask yourself which option aligns most closely with my purpose. This doesn't mean every decision will be easy, but it does provide a framework for making choices that are true to who you are and what you stand for. It's important to recognize that staying grounded in your purpose is an ongoing process. Life has a way of pulling us off course, distracting us with urgent but unimportant matters. That's why regular reflection is crucial. Set aside time each week to review how your actions have aligned with your purpose. Celebrate the moments when you've lived your purpose fully and identify areas where you may have strayed. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. There will be times when you feel disconnected from your purpose or when life throws unexpected challenges your way. In these moments, return to your purpose statement. Let it remind you of what truly matters and guide you back to your path. As we conclude this chapter, take a moment to reaffirm your commitment to living with purpose. Recognize that by embarking on this journey, you're not just setting yourself up for greater success and fulfillment, you're also creating a ripple effect that can positively impact everyone around you. The chapters that follow will build upon this foundation of purpose, providing you with strategies to embrace the journey, detach from outcomes, trust in incremental progress, and much more. Each step will bring you closer to not just achieving your goals, but becoming the very embodiment of your aspirations. As you turn the page to the next chapter, carry your purpose with you. Let it be the lens through which you view every challenge and opportunity. For in doing so, you'll discover that the true power of purpose lies not in reaching a destination, but in transforming the very essence of who you are along the way. The journey ahead is filled with potential for growth, discovery, and profound change. Are you ready to take the next step? The path to becoming the result you seek begins with purpose, your purpose. Embrace it, live it, and watch as it unfolds the extraordinary potential within you. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Embrace the Journey. Have you ever found yourself so focused on reaching a goal that you've forgotten to breathe, to truly live in the moment? It's a common experience in our fast-paced world, where we're constantly urged to strive for the next big achievement. But what if I told you that the real magic, the true essence of growth and fulfillment, lies not in reaching your destination, but in fully embracing the journey itself? This chapter invites you to explore a paradigm shift, one that could transform not just how you approach your goals, but how you experience life itself. We're about to embark on a journey of discovery, uncovering the hidden treasures that lie within each step of your path, rather than fixating solely on the end point. Think about the last time you achieved a major goal. Perhaps it was a promotion at work, completing a challenging project, or reaching a personal milestone. How long did that sense of accomplishment last? For many, the euphoria of achievement is fleeting, quickly replaced by the pressure to set and pursue the next target. This cycle of chasing one goal after another can lead to a perpetual state of dissatisfaction, always yearning for the next thing, never fully content with where we are. This is the pitfall of destination fixation. When we become overly focused on outcomes, we risk missing out on the rich experiences and learning opportunities that arise along the way. Moreover, this fixation can lead to increased stress and anxiety as we constantly measure our worth against future achievements rather than appreciating our current growth and efforts. But what if there was another way? An approach that allows you to find purpose and fulfillment in each step of your journey, regardless of the outcome. This is where the journey-focused mindset comes into play. By shifting our attention from the end goal to the process itself, we open ourselves up to a world of benefits. Imagine approaching each day with a sense of curiosity and engagement, finding joy and satisfaction in the small actions that make up your journey. This mindset not only reduces stress, but also enhances your overall experience of life. When you're fully present in each moment, you're more likely to notice opportunities for growth and learning that you might otherwise miss when fixated on a distant goal. The journey-focused mindset is rooted in principles of mindfulness and present moment awareness. Mindfulness, at its core, is about paying attention to the present moment with intention and without judgment. It's about being fully engaged with whatever you're doing, whether it's a complex task at work or a simple household chore. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation, though that can certainly be beneficial. It can be as simple as taking a few deep conscious breaths throughout your day. Try this now. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your lungs expand. Hold it for a moment, then slowly exhale through your mouth. Notice how this simple act brings your attention to the present moment, grounding you in the here and now. Another powerful technique for staying present is the practice of grounding. This involves using your senses to connect with your immediate environment. Take a moment to notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This exercise quickly brings your attention back to the present, pulling you out of worries about the future or regrets about the past. As you begin to incorporate these mindfulness practices into your daily life, you may find yourself naturally becoming more attuned to the journey. However, truly embracing the journey often requires us to step out of our comfort zones and challenge ourselves in new ways. This is where the progressive discomfort challenge comes in. The concept behind this challenge is simple, yet profound. By gradually increasing the difficulty or discomfort in a routine task, we learn to find satisfaction and growth in the process itself, rather than focusing solely on the end result. This practice helps us develop resilience and adaptability, key traits for navigating life's inevitable ups and downs. To implement this challenge, start by selecting a routine task in your daily life. It could be as simple as your morning routine or a regular work task. Now, think about how you could slightly modify this task to make it a bit more challenging. Perhaps you could try completing it in a shorter time frame or add an extra step to make it more complex. The key here is to increase the challenge gradually. You're not looking to overwhelm yourself, but to gently push your boundaries. As you become comfortable with each new level of difficulty, incrementally increase the challenge again. This gradual progression allows you to build confidence and skill over time, finding satisfaction in the growth process itself. Of course, embracing discomfort isn't always easy. You may encounter mental blocks or resistance along the way. When this happens, it's important to remind yourself of the purpose behind this challenge. You're not just making things harder for the sake of it. You're developing a mindset that finds value and growth in the journey itself. One powerful way to deepen your engagement with the journey is through sensory immersion in daily tasks. This practice involves consciously engaging all your senses as you go about your routine activities. By doing so, you transform even the most mundane tasks into rich, multisensory experiences. Let's try a sensory detailing exercise. Choose a simple, everyday object in your immediate environment. It could be a pen, a cup, or even the book you're holding. Now take a moment to really observe this object with all your senses. What does it look like? Notice its color, shape, and any patterns or textures. If it's safe to do so, pick it up. How does it feel in your hand? Is it smooth, rough, cool, or warm? If applicable, what sound does it make when you interact with it? Does it have a scent? By engaging in this level of sensory detail with everyday objects and tasks, you begin to see the world around you in a new light. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. You start to appreciate the complexity and beauty in things you might have previously overlooked. This deepened awareness and appreciation is a hallmark of truly embracing the journey. As you cultivate this journey-focused mindset, you'll likely find yourself becoming more comfortable with uncertainty and more open to new experiences. This is a natural progression, as embracing the journey inherently involves letting go of rigid expectations and being open to wherever the path may lead. Letting go of control can be challenging, especially if you're used to meticulously planning every aspect of your life. However, accepting the unpredictable nature of life can be incredibly liberating. It allows you to approach each day with a sense of curiosity and wonder, ready to embrace whatever opportunities or challenges may arise. This openness to uncertainty doesn't mean abandoning all planning or goal setting. Rather, it's about holding those plans and goals lightly, being willing to adjust and adapt as circumstances change. It's about finding joy in the exploration itself, rather than fixating on a predetermined outcome. To cultivate this sense of openness and curiosity, try approaching each day as if it were an adventure. What new things might you discover? What unexpected opportunities might arise? By framing your experiences in this way, you transform potential obstacles into exciting challenges and routine tasks into opportunities for growth and discovery. As you continue to practice these principles, you'll likely notice a shift in your overall mindset and approach to life. At first, you may simply experience increased awareness of the present moment. You might find yourself noticing details in your environment that you've previously overlooked, or becoming more attuned to your own thoughts and feelings. As you deepen your practice, you may start to experience enhanced satisfaction from your daily activities. Tasks that once seemed boring or tedious might take on new meaning as you engage with them more fully. You might find yourself enjoying the process of working towards your goals rather than just anticipating their completion. The ultimate outcome of embracing the journey is a sustained mindset shift that leads to greater overall fulfillment. When you're able to find purpose and satisfaction in the process itself, rather than constantly chasing future achievements, you open yourself up to a more balanced, joyful, and meaningful life. Of course, like any significant change, embracing the journey comes with its challenges. You might find yourself struggling to stay present due to distractions, particularly in our technology-driven world. If this is the case, consider implementing scheduled tech-free periods in your day. Even short periods of disconnection can help you reconnect with your immediate environment and experiences. You might also encounter resistance to the discomfort that comes with growth and change. Remember, it's okay to start small. Begin with minor challenges and gradually increase the difficulty as you build confidence and resilience. Lastly, you might find it difficult to let go of control and embrace uncertainty. This is a common struggle, particularly for those who are used to meticulously planning every aspect of their lives. Practice acceptance exercises, focusing on the aspects of your life that you can control while learning to be okay with those you can't. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on how you might begin to embrace your own journey more fully. What small steps could you take today to become more present, more engaged with the process of your life, rather than fixated on future outcomes? Remember, embracing the journey is not about abandoning your goals or ambitions. It's about finding richness, growth, and fulfillment in every step along the way. It's about transforming your entire experience of life, not just the moments of achievement. As you move forward, keep in mind that this shift in mindset is itself a journey. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and remain curious about what each new day might bring. The path ahead is filled with potential for growth, discovery, and transformation. And speaking of the path ahead, our next chapter will delve into a concept that might seem counterintuitive at first, but has the power to dramatically shift your approach to personal growth and achievement. Are you ready to explore the liberating power of letting go? The journey continues, and the next step may surprise you. Chapter 3. Detach from outcome. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the edge of a vast, unexplored wilderness. The path ahead is unclear, filled with both potential dangers and hidden treasures. How do you approach this journey? Do you meticulously plan every step, fixating on a specific destination? Or do you step forward with an open mind, ready to adapt to whatever you encounter? This chapter invites you to explore a powerful concept that might initially seem counterintuitive. We're about to delve into the art of detaching from outcomes, a practice that can fundamentally transform your approach to personal growth and achievement. At first glance, the idea of detaching from outcomes might sound alarming. After all, aren't we taught from an early age to set clear goals and work tirelessly towards them? While goal setting certainly has its place, an excessive focus on specific outcomes can sometimes do more harm than good. Think about a time when you were completely fixated on achieving a particular result. Perhaps it was acing an important exam, landing a dream job, or reaching a personal milestone. How did that fixation make you feel? For many, this intense focus on outcomes leads to anxiety, stress, and a fear of failure that can actually hinder performance. This is the crux of outcome dependency, a state where our sense of self-worth and satisfaction becomes inextricably linked to achieving specific results. When we're in this state, we're not just working towards a goal, we're tying our entire sense of self to its achievement. The pressure this creates can be immense, leading to a host of negative psychological effects. Moreover, this rigid focus on outcomes can impose significant limitations on our personal growth. When we're fixated on a particular result, we often develop tunnel vision, potentially missing out on unexpected opportunities or alternative paths that could lead to even greater success or fulfillment. So, how do we break free from this cycle of outcome dependency? The answer lies in applying principles from cognitive behavioral theory, a psychological approach that emphasizes the connection between our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. One of the key aspects of this approach involves reframing our thoughts about success and failure. Often, our anxiety about outcomes stems from cognitive distortions, inaccurate or exaggerated thought patterns that skew our perception of reality. For instance, we might engage in all-or-nothing thinking, where anything short of perfect success is seen as a total failure. To combat these distortions, we can practice thought replacement techniques. This involves consciously identifying negative or unhelpful thoughts and replacing them with more balanced, realistic alternatives. For example, instead of thinking, "If I don't achieve this specific outcome, I'm a failure," we might reframe it as, "Regardless of the outcome, I'll learn valuable lessons from this experience." As we practice this reframing, we begin to experience the freedom of letting go. We start to see our goals not as rigid, immovable targets, but as flexible guideposts that can adapt and change as we grow and learn. This shift allows us to approach our tasks with a sense of openness and curiosity, rather than anxiety and pressure. To help reinforce this new mindset, we can employ a tool called the backwards success log. This unique approach to journaling invites us to reflect on experiences where outcomes didn't meet our initial expectations, but still led to valuable growth or unexpected positive results. The purpose of this log is twofold. First, it helps us learn from situations that we might otherwise dismiss as failures. Second, it trains our minds to look for the silver linings in all experiences, reinforcing the idea that growth and learning are valuable in themselves, regardless of specific outcomes. To maintain this log, set aside time regularly, perhaps weekly, to reflect on your experiences. Consider moments where things didn't go as planned, but still resulted in some form of growth or insight. As you record these experiences, ask yourself reflective questions. What did I learn from this situation? How did it challenge my assumptions? What unexpected opportunities arose as a result? Over time, as you analyze the patterns in your backwards success log, you may start to notice recurring themes. Perhaps you'll see that some of your most significant growth moments came from situations that initially seemed like setbacks. This realization can be profoundly liberating, helping you to approach future challenges with a more open and flexible mindset. Another powerful tool for reinforcing outcome detachment is the outcome detachment card system. This involves creating a set of personalized affirmation cards that remind you to focus on the process rather than fixating on results. To design your cards, think about the areas where you tend to get most caught up in outcomes. Then craft short, powerful messages that encourage a more detached and process-focused mindset. For example, a card might read, "I embrace the journey, whatever the destination," or "My worth is not determined by outcomes, but by my effort and growth." Incorporate these cards into your daily routine. You might draw a card each morning to set your intention for the day, or keep them handy to reference when you feel yourself getting overly attached to a specific outcome. As you reflect on these affirmations throughout the day, you'll find yourself naturally integrating this detached mindset into your actions and decisions. As you practice detaching from outcomes, you'll likely find yourself becoming more flexible and open to new experiences. This increased flexibility is a crucial skill in our rapidly changing world, where the ability to adapt quickly can often be more valuable than rigid adherence to a plan. Embracing alternative paths becomes easier when you're not fixated on a single, specific outcome. You start to see unexpected changes not as obstacles, but as potential opportunities for growth and discovery. This mindset allows you to navigate life's twists and turns with greater ease and resilience. Responding positively to change is another key aspect of cultivating flexibility. This involves developing techniques for emotional regulation, allowing you to maintain a sense of calm and clarity even in the face of unexpected challenges. Practices like deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, or simple grounding exercises can be incredibly helpful in managing the emotional turbulence that often accompanies change. Alongside emotional regulation, developing adaptive problem-solving skills is crucial. This means approaching challenges with a creative, open mindset, ready to consider multiple solutions rather than fixating on a single right answer. As you practice this approach, you'll likely find that many problems have multiple viable solutions, often including options you might not have considered if you were rigidly focused on a specific outcome. To reinforce these concepts, consider incorporating some practical exercises into your daily routine. One effective practice is daily thought reframing. Each day, identify one negative or outcome-dependent thought and consciously reframe it in a more balanced, process-focused way. Over time, this practice can significantly shift your overall thought patterns. Mindset journaling is another powerful tool. Set aside time regularly to reflect on your progress in detaching from outcomes. Write about situations where you successfully applied this mindset, as well as moments where you struggled. What did you learn from each experience? How can you apply these lessons moving forward? Role-playing scenarios can also be incredibly helpful in practicing flexibility. Create hypothetical situations where plans change unexpectedly and mentally walk through how you would respond with a detached, flexible mindset. This mental rehearsal can help you respond more adaptively when faced with real-life changes. As you continue to practice detaching from outcomes, you may notice a range of positive effects. At a basic level, you're likely to experience reduced stress related to outcomes. The constant pressure of needing to achieve specific results begins to lift, replaced by a sense of freedom and openness. As you progress, you may find yourself becoming more adaptable and open to new experiences. Changes that once would have thrown you off course now become interesting challenges to navigate. You might even start seeking out new experiences, knowing that regardless of the outcome, you'll grow from the process. The ultimate outcome of this practice is achieving personal growth and success through a liberated mindset. When you're no longer constrained by rigid expectations of specific outcomes, you're free to explore, learn, and grow in ways you might never have imagined. Paradoxically, by letting go of your attachment to particular results, you may find yourself achieving even greater success. Success that's deeply fulfilling because it's aligned with your authentic journey of growth. Of course, like any significant change, detaching from outcomes can come with its challenges. You might find it difficult to break old thought patterns, particularly if you've spent years measuring your worth by your achievements. If you're struggling, don't hesitate to seek feedback from trusted friends or mentors. Sometimes, an outside perspective can help us see our thought patterns more clearly and provide valuable support as we work to change them. Another common issue is feeling aimless without specific outcomes to focus on. If you find yourself in this situation, try shifting your focus to process goals and immediate actions. Instead of fixating on a distant end result, set goals related to your effort, learning, or the quality of your experience. This allows you to maintain a sense of direction without falling back into outcome dependency. It's also important to remember that detaching from outcomes doesn't mean abandoning all planning or foresight. The key is to balance detachment with proactive planning, always maintaining an emphasis on flexibility. Plan for the future, but hold those plans lightly, ready to adapt as circumstances change. As we conclude this chapter, take a moment to reflect on how detaching from outcomes might transform your own life. How might it change your approach to challenges, your experience of day-to-day tasks, or your overall sense of fulfillment? Remember, this shift in mindset is a journey in itself. Be patient with yourself as you practice these new ways of thinking and acting. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and view any setbacks as opportunities for further learning and growth. As you move forward, carrying this new understanding of outcome detachment, you're preparing yourself for the next crucial step in your journey of personal transformation. The path ahead involves a concept that might seem small at first glance, but has the power to create monumental change over time. Are you ready to discover the extraordinary potential hidden within life's tiniest moments? The next chapter awaits, promising to unveil a powerful secret that could revolutionize your approach to personal growth. Chapter 4. Trust Incremental Progress. Have you ever watched a master craftsman at work? The precision of their movements, the attention to detail, the patience with which they approach their task, it's mesmerizing. But here's the thing, that mastery didn't happen overnight. It's the result of countless hours of practice, of small improvements made day after day, year after year. This chapter invites you to explore a powerful concept that can transform not just how you approach your goals, but how you view progress and success in every aspect of your life. We're about to delve into the world of incremental progress, a principle that might seem deceptively simple at first glance, but holds the potential for extraordinary transformation. Think about the last time you set a big goal for yourself. Perhaps it was learning a new skill, improving your fitness, or advancing in your career. How did you approach it? Many of us tend to dive in with grand ambitions and sweeping changes, only to find ourselves overwhelmed and discouraged when we don't see immediate results. This all-or-nothing mentality is a common pitfall in personal development. We often believe that meaningful change requires dramatic action, that unless we're making big leaps forward, we're not really progressing at all. But what if I told you that the key to lasting change and remarkable achievement lies not in these grand gestures, but in the small, consistent actions we take every day? This is where the concept of marginal gains comes into play. It's an idea that's been applied with great success in various fields, from sports to business to personal development. The principle is simple. Instead of trying to make massive improvements all at once, focus on making tiny 1% improvements consistently over time. At first glance, these small improvements might seem insignificant. After all, what difference can a 1% change really make? But here's where the magic happens. These small gains compound over time, leading to dramatic results in the long run. Imagine you're able to improve something by just 1% each day. It doesn't sound like much, does it? But if you keep this up for a year, you'll end up with an improvement of nearly 38 times. That's the power of compound growth. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering more snow with each revolution, growing larger and larger as it goes. This principle of incremental progress isn't just a nice theory, it's backed by solid behavioral psychology. Our brains are wired to form habits through repetition. When we consistently perform small actions, we're not just making external progress, we're rewiring our neural pathways, making these positive behaviors more automatic and natural over time. But to harness the power of incremental progress, we first need to overcome the all-or-nothing mentality that often holds us back. This mindset is often rooted in perfectionism, the belief that unless we can do something flawlessly, it's not worth doing at all. Perfectionism can be paralyzing. It can prevent us from starting projects, lead us to abandon efforts at the first sign of difficulty, and rob us of the satisfaction of small victories along the way. Recognizing the signs of perfectionism in ourselves is the first step to overcoming it. Do you often delay starting tasks because you're waiting for the perfect time or conditions? Do you find yourself abandoning projects if they don't meet your exacting standards? Do you struggle to celebrate your achievements because you're always focused on what could be better? These could all be signs of perfectionism holding you back. The antidote to perfectionism is embracing imperfection, or more accurately, embracing progress over perfection. This doesn't mean lowering your standards or settling for mediocrity. Instead, it means recognizing that progress, no matter how small, is always valuable. It means understanding that the path to mastery is paved with countless imperfect attempts, each one bringing you a little closer to your goal. To put this principle into practice, let's explore a powerful tool, the 1% Daily Betterment Tracker. This simple yet effective technique involves identifying areas in your life where you want to improve and committing to making a tiny 1% improvement each day. Start by choosing an area you want to focus on. It could be a skill you want to develop, a habit you want to build, or an aspect of your life you want to enhance. Now, think about what a 1% improvement in this area might look like. Remember, we're aiming for small, manageable changes here. For instance, if you're working on improving your public speaking skills, a 1% improvement might be practicing your speech for just 1 minute longer than you did yesterday. If you're trying to build a writing habit, it might be writing 10 more words than the day before. The key is to make these improvements so small that they feel almost effortless. This removes the intimidation factor and makes it much easier to stay consistent. As you track these small improvements day by day, you'll start to see a pattern of progress emerging. To keep yourself motivated and accountable, consider creating a visual representation of your progress. This is where the cumulative wins chart comes in. This chart serves as a tangible reminder of how far you've come, helping to maintain your motivation even when progress feels slow. Designing your cumulative wins chart can be as simple or as creative as you like. It could be a line graph showing your daily improvements, a jar that you fill with marbles, one for each day you make progress, or a digital tracker on your phone or computer. The important thing is that it provides a clear visual representation of your journey. As you use this chart, pay attention to the patterns that emerge. Are there certain days or times when you tend to make more progress? Are there factors that seem to hinder your improvement? Use these insights to adjust your approach and set more effective goals going forward. Remember, the goal here isn't to see a straight line of constant improvement. Progress is rarely linear. There will be ups and downs, days when you exceed your 1% goal and days when you fall short. The important thing is the overall trend over time. This brings us to a crucial aspect of trusting incremental progress, building momentum. When you first start focusing on these small, daily improvements, it might feel like you're not making much headway. This is where patience and persistence come into play. Think of it like pushing a heavy boulder. At first, it takes a lot of effort just to get it moving a tiny bit, but as you keep pushing, it starts to roll more easily. Before you know it, you've built up momentum, and the boulder is rolling faster and farther with less effort from you. The same principle applies to your personal growth journey. Those first steps might feel small and insignificant. You might be tempted to give up, thinking you're not making real progress. But if you persist, continuing to make those small improvements day after day, you'll start to build momentum. Suddenly, you'll find yourself making progress more easily and naturally. To help you stay on track, Consider implementing some practical exercises into your routine. Start each day by setting a micro goal, a small, specific action you can take to make that 1% improvement. Make it so easy that it feels almost impossible to fail. At the end of each week, take some time for reflection. Look back at your daily improvements. What worked well? What challenges did you face? How can you apply these lessons to the week ahead? This regular reflection helps you stay connected to your progress and make necessary adjustments along the way. As you continue on this journey of incremental progress, you'll likely start to notice some positive changes. At first, you might simply become more aware of the small achievements in your daily life. Things you might have overlooked before suddenly become sources of satisfaction and motivation. As you persist, you'll likely find yourself establishing sustainable habits that lead to noticeable improvements in your chosen areas of focus. These aren't fleeting changes, but deeply ingrained behaviors that become part of who you are. The ultimate outcome of trusting in incremental progress is achieving significant personal growth through consistent, small steps. This growth isn't just about reaching specific goals. It's about becoming a person who understands the value of patience, persistence, and continuous improvement. Of course, like any meaningful change, this approach comes with its challenges. You might find yourself growing impatient with what seems like slow progress. In these moments, it's crucial to revisit your expectations and refocus on the process rather than the end result. Remember, even if you can't see dramatic changes day to day, those small improvements are compounding behind the scenes. Another common issue is losing motivation over time. This is where your cumulative wins chart becomes invaluable. Regularly reviewing and celebrating your accumulated wins can reignite your motivation and remind you of how far you've come. Lastly, you might fall into the trap of setting unrealistic micro goals in your enthusiasm. Remember, the power of this approach lies in its sustainability. If you find yourself consistently failing to meet your daily goals, it's a sign that you need to scale them back. There's no shame in adjusting your targets. In fact, it's a crucial part of the process. As we wrap up this chapter, take a moment to reflect on how the principle of incremental progress might apply to your own life. What areas could benefit from this approach? How might your perspective on growth and achievement shift if you embrace the power of small, consistent actions? Remember, the journey of personal growth is not about dramatic leaps and bounds. It's about the small steps you take every day, the tiny improvements that add up over time. By trusting in incremental progress, you're not just working towards your goals, you're transforming yourself into someone who understands the true nature of lasting change. As you move forward, carrying this new appreciation for the power of small actions, you're preparing yourself for the next crucial step in your journey. The path ahead involves a principle that might seem challenging at first, but has the potential to revolutionize your approach to personal growth. Are you ready to discover the extraordinary power that lies in one of the most underappreciated virtues? The next chapter awaits, promising to unveil a secret that could be the key to unlocking your full potential. Chapter 5. Commit to consistency. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly achieve their goals while others struggle despite putting in intense bursts of effort? The answer might surprise you. It's not about grand gestures or Herculean efforts. Instead, it lies in a quality that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful: consistency. In this chapter, we're going to explore a principle that has the potential to revolutionize your approach to personal growth and achievement. It's a concept that might seem simple at first glance, but its impact can be profound and far-reaching. We're going to delve into the art of committing to consistency and how this commitment can become the bedrock of your success in any endeavor. Think about the last time you started a new project or set a new goal for yourself. How did you approach it? Many of us tend to start with a burst of enthusiasm, throwing ourselves into the task with intense energy. But what happens when that initial excitement fades? This is where the real challenge begins, and where the principle we're about to explore becomes crucial. Consistency, at its core, is about showing up. It's about doing the work, day in and day out, regardless of whether you feel motivated or not. It's about making a commitment to yourself and honoring that commitment, even when it's inconvenient or challenging. But why is this so important? The power of consistency lies in its ability to create lasting change. When we commit to consistent action, we're not just working towards our goals, we're rewiring our brains, creating new neural pathways that make our desired behaviors more automatic over time. This is the essence of habit formation, and it's a key principle in the science of behavior change. But consistency isn't just about achieving external goals. It's also about building a fundamental quality that can transform your entire approach to life: self-trust. Every time you make a commitment to yourself and follow through, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. You're saying, I am someone who does what they say they'll do. Over time, this builds a deep well of self-confidence and self-reliance that can carry you through even the toughest challenges. So how do we cultivate this quality of consistency? One powerful approach is through the establishment of microtask rituals. These are small, manageable tasks that you commit to performing regularly, ideally daily. The key is to make these tasks so small and easy that it feels almost impossible to fail. For example, if your goal is to become a writer, your microtask ritual might be to write for just 5 minutes each day. If you're working on fitness, it might be to do a single push-up every morning. The specific task isn't as important as the act of showing up and doing it consistently. When designing your micro-task rituals, consider what elements will make them most effective for you. Perhaps you need a specific time and place to perform your ritual, or maybe you need to link it to an existing habit to help you remember. The goal is to make your ritual as automatic and frictionless as possible. Integrating these rituals into your daily life might require some initial effort and planning. You might need to set reminders on your phone or create visual cues in your environment to prompt you. The key is to make your ritual a non-negotiable part of your day, as automatic as brushing your teeth or getting dressed. Remember, the power of these rituals lies not in their intensity, but in their consistency. It's far better to do a small task every day than to do a big task once in a while. This consistent effort builds momentum over time, making it easier and more natural to stick to your commitments. To help reinforce this habit of consistency, we can employ a simple but effective tool, the repetition commitment coins system. This involves setting up a physical representation of your commitment, using coins or tokens to track your progress. Here's how it works. Get 2 jars or containers and a set of coins or tokens. You could use actual coins, poker chips, or even small stones. Label one container Start and the other Completed. At the beginning of each week, place 7 coins in the Start container. Each day that you complete your microtask ritual, move 1 coin from the Start container to the Completed container. This simple act of physically moving a coin serves as a tangible reminder of your commitment and progress. It provides a visual representation of your consistency, which can be incredibly motivating. Over time, you can analyze patterns in your consistency. Are there certain days of the week when you're more likely to follow through? Are there times when you tend to falter? This information can be invaluable in helping you adjust your approach and overcome obstacles. Speaking of obstacles, it's important to recognize that maintaining consistency isn't always easy. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way, and even the best-laid plans can be disrupted. The key is to anticipate these challenges and have strategies in place to maintain your momentum. Common disruptions to consistency can be both internal and external. Internal disruptions might include things like lack of motivation, self-doubt, or simply forgetting. External disruptions could be unexpected events, changes in your schedule, or competing priorities. To overcome these obstacles, it's helpful to have a toolkit of strategies at your disposal. One powerful technique is to plan ahead for challenges. If you know you have a busy week coming up, how can you adjust your ritual to ensure you still follow through? Maybe you need to wake up a bit earlier, or perhaps you can break your task into even smaller chunks. Accountability can also be a powerful tool for maintaining consistency. This could involve sharing your commitment with a friend or family member, joining a group of like-minded individuals, or even using a habit tracking app to log your progress. The key is to create external reinforcement for your internal commitment. As you continue to reinforce your habits over time, you can employ additional techniques to make them even more robust. One such technique is habit stacking, where you build new habits onto existing ones. For example, if you already have a habit of making your bed each morning, you could stack your new micro-task ritual onto this existing habit. This leverages the power of association to make your new habit more automatic. Creating a reward system can also be an effective way to incentivize consistent behavior. This doesn't mean rewarding yourself with extravagant prizes for every small action. Instead, it's about finding ways to make the process itself rewarding. This could be as simple as taking a moment to feel proud of yourself each time you follow through, or keeping a log of your streak of consistent days. To really embed these principles into your life, consider implementing some practical exercises. Develop a personalized habit schedule that outlines when and how you'll perform your microtask rituals. Use reflection prompts to regularly assess your consistency and identify areas for improvement. And explore techniques for overcoming procrastination, such as the 2-minute rule. If a task will take less than 2 minutes, do it immediately, or the 5-second rule. Count down from 5 and then start your task, no matter what. As you commit to consistency, you'll likely start to see a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll establish regular routines that bring structure and predictability to your days. This alone can reduce stress and increase your overall sense of control and well-being. As you continue, you'll likely find yourself building strong, lasting habits that support your goals. These aren't just surface-level changes, but deeply ingrained behaviors that become part of who you are. You'll find yourself naturally doing things that once required conscious effort and willpower. The ultimate outcome of committing to consistency is achieving significant progress through unwavering commitment. This isn't just about reaching specific goals, though that will likely happen. It's about becoming the kind of person who follows through, who shows up day after day, who understands the power of small, consistent actions. This transformation in identity can have far-reaching effects in every area of your life. Of course, like any meaningful change, committing to consistency comes with its challenges. You might find yourself falling off your routine due to unexpected events. When this happens, it's important to have a contingency plan in place. This might involve having a minimum viable routine, a scaled-down version of your ritual that you can fall back on when life gets hectic. Remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It's about getting back on track as quickly as possible when you inevitably stumble. Another common issue is a lack of motivation to maintain consistency. This is where reconnecting with your purpose becomes crucial. Remind yourself why you started this journey in the first place. What are you working towards? How will these consistent actions help you become the person you want to be? Sometimes you might need to adjust your rituals to reignite your interest. Don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. Lastly, be wary of overcommitting and burning out. In our enthusiasm to make changes, we sometimes take on too much too quickly. This can lead to overwhelm and ultimately giving up. The solution is to start small. Begin with 1 or 2 manageable tasks and gradually increase as you build your consistency muscle. Remember, it's not about how much you do, but how consistently you do it. As we wrap up this chapter, take a moment to reflect on how the principle of consistency might apply to your own life. What small daily actions could you commit to that would move you closer to your goals? How might your life change if you became someone who consistently honors their commitments to themselves? Remember, the power of consistency lies not in grand gestures or intense bursts of effort, but in the quiet, steady actions you take day after day. It's about showing up, doing the work, and trusting in the process. By committing to consistency, You're not just working towards your goals, you're transforming yourself into someone who achieves them as a natural consequence of who you are. As you move forward, carrying this new understanding of the power of consistency, you're preparing yourself for the next crucial step in your journey. The path ahead involves a state of being that might seem elusive at first, but has the potential to transform not just what you do, but how you experience life itself. Are you ready to discover a way of engaging with your tasks that can make time seem to stand still? The next chapter awaits, promising to unveil a secret that could revolutionize your approach to work and life. Chapter 6. Find flow in effort. Have you ever experienced a moment when time seemed to stand still? When you were so deeply engrossed in a task that the world around you faded away, and you found yourself operating at a level of performance and creativity that felt almost effortless? If you have, then you've had a taste of what psychologists call flow state, a concept that holds the potential to revolutionize not just how you work, but how you experience life itself. In this chapter, we're going to explore a phenomenon that might seem elusive or mysterious at first, but which can be cultivated and harnessed to transform your productivity, creativity, and overall satisfaction in life. We're going to delve into the art of finding flow in effort and how this state of deep engagement can become a powerful tool in your journey of personal growth and achievement. Think about the last time you were truly absorbed in a task. Perhaps you were working on a project you were passionate about or engaged in a hobby you love. How did it feel? Many people describe a sense of timelessness, a feeling of being in the zone where their actions and awareness seem to merge. This is the essence of flow. But why is this state so important? The benefits of operating in a flow state are numerous and profound. When we're in flow, we experience heightened focus and concentration. Our performance improves dramatically. We're able to work faster, more creatively, and with greater precision. Moreover, we experience a deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment from the task itself, reducing our reliance on external rewards or validation. Understanding the characteristics of flow is the first step to harnessing its power. Flow is characterized by complete immersion in the task at hand. When in flow, we lose self-consciousness and our sense of time becomes distorted. We experience a sense of control and mastery over the task, and our actions and awareness seem to merge seamlessly. One of the key aspects of flow is the balance between challenge and skill. To enter a flow state, we need to be engaged in a task that is challenging enough to require our full attention and stretch our abilities, but not so difficult that it overwhelms us. This sweet spot is where flow occurs. But how do we identify the activities and conditions that induce flow for us personally? This is where self-assessment becomes crucial. Take a moment to reflect on times when you felt fully engaged and lost in a task. What were you doing? What were the conditions around you? Were you working alone or with others? By analyzing these experiences, you can start to identify your personal flow triggers. Once you've identified activities that tend to induce flow, the next step is to align your tasks with your skills. This might involve adjusting the difficulty of your tasks to match your current ability level, or gradually increasing the challenge as your skills improve. The goal is to create conditions where you're consistently operating at the edge of your abilities, where the task is challenging enough to engage you fully, but not so difficult that it causes anxiety or frustration. To help cultivate flow states more consistently, we can employ a powerful technique called the time dilation practice. This involves setting aside a day, or even just a few hours, to work without any time constraints or clock watching. The goal is to fully immerse yourself in your tasks without the pressure of deadlines or schedules. To prepare for a clock-free day, start by setting clear intentions for what you want to accomplish. Remove all timekeeping devices from your workspace, cover clocks, turn off your phone, and disable any digital time displays. Create boundaries to prevent interruptions, letting others know that you'll be unavailable during this time. As you engage in your tasks, focus on fully immersing yourself in the experience. Pay attention to the details of what you're doing, the sensations you're experiencing, the thoughts and ideas that arise. Allow yourself to follow your natural rhythms of work and rest without worrying about how much time has passed. After your clock-free session, take time to reflect on the experience. How did your perception of time change? Did you notice any differences in your productivity or creativity? What insights did you gain about your work patterns and preferences? This reflection can provide valuable insights into your personal flow triggers and work habits. Another powerful technique for inducing flow states is pre-task priming visualization. This involves taking a few moments before beginning a task to visualize yourself engaging in the work with full focus and enjoyment. To practice this, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Now, imagine yourself starting the task. Visualize the environment around you, the tools you'll be using, the sensations you'll experience. See yourself working with ease and concentration, fully absorbed in what you're doing. Imagine the satisfaction you'll feel as you make progress. The more vivid and detailed you can make this visualization, the more effective it will be. By incorporating this visualization practice into your routine, you're essentially priming your mind for flow. You're creating a mental blueprint for how you want to engage with your work, making it easier to slip into that state of deep focus when you actually begin the task. Of course, maintaining flow in daily life can be challenging. We live in a world full of distractions, and it's easy to get pulled out of a flow state by notifications, interruptions, or competing demands on our attention. To preserve focus, it's crucial to minimize these distractions as much as possible. This might involve creating a dedicated workspace free from interruptions, using tools to block distracting websites or apps during work sessions, or establishing clear boundaries with others about your availability. Remember, protecting your ability to focus is not selfish. It's essential for doing your best work and experiencing the deep satisfaction that comes from full engagement. Another key to maintaining flow is to continually adjust the challenge level of your tasks. As your skills improve, you may find that tasks that once induced flow now feel too easy and fail to fully engage you. In these cases, look for ways to increase the challenge. This might involve taking on more complex projects, setting tighter deadlines, or finding new ways to push your skills to their limits. To help integrate these concepts into your daily life, consider implementing some practical exercises. Try scheduling regular, deep work sessions where you focus on a single, challenging task without interruptions. Practice mindfulness techniques to enhance your ability to focus and stay present. Experiment with different methods for quickly entering a flow state, such as using specific music, rituals, or environmental cues. As you cultivate the ability to find flow in effort, you're likely to experience a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll likely notice an increased ability to focus on tasks. You'll find it easier to tune out distractions and maintain concentration for longer periods. As you progress, you may find yourself regularly experiencing flow states, leading to significantly higher productivity. Tasks that once felt like a chore become engaging challenges, and you may find yourself accomplishing more in less time. The ultimate outcome of mastering flow is achieving peak performance and deep satisfaction through consistent immersion in your work. This isn't just about being more productive, it's about transforming your entire experience of work and effort. When you can consistently find flow in your tasks, work becomes a source of joy and fulfillment rather than a necessary burden. Of course, like any skill, cultivating flow comes with its challenges. You might find it difficult to eliminate distractions, especially in our hyper-connected world. If this is the case, consider creating a dedicated workspace where you can control your environment more easily. Set clear boundaries with others about your availability during focus times, and use tools to block digital distractions when necessary. Another common issue is that tasks may not feel engaging enough to induce flow. In these cases, try adjusting the difficulty level of your tasks. If a task feels too easy, look for ways to make it more challenging. If it feels too difficult, break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. The key is to find that sweet spot where the task challenges you just enough to fully engage your skills and attention. You might also find it difficult to maintain flow over extended periods. This is normal. Our brains aren't designed to stay in a high-focus state indefinitely. The solution is to incorporate regular breaks and vary your tasks. Use techniques like the Pomodoro method, focused work sessions interspersed with short breaks, to maintain engagement over longer periods. As we conclude this chapter, take a moment to reflect on how the concept of flow might apply to your own life. What activities tend to induce flow for you? How might you restructure your work or daily routines to create more opportunities for flow states? Remember, finding flow in effort isn't just about being more productive. It's about transforming your relationship with work and effort itself. It's about finding deep satisfaction and fulfillment in the process of what you do, rather than just in the outcomes. By cultivating flow, you're not just improving your performance, you're enhancing your overall experience of life. As you move forward, carrying this new understanding of flow, you're preparing yourself for the next crucial step in your journey. The path ahead involves a quality that might seem at odds with our goal-oriented culture, but which holds the potential to dramatically enhance your resilience and growth. Are you ready to discover how embracing uncertainty and change can become your greatest strength? The next chapter awaits, promising to unveil a perspective that could revolutionize how you navigate life's challenges and opportunities. Chapter 7. Adapt and Adjust. Have you ever found yourself caught off guard by an unexpected change? Perhaps a carefully laid plan suddenly became obsolete, or a goal you were working towards shifted dramatically. In these moments, it's easy to feel frustrated, even defeated. But what if I told you that these very moments of upheaval could be the key to unlocking your greatest potential? In this chapter, we're going to explore a concept that might seem counterintuitive at first, but which holds the power to transform how you navigate life's challenges and opportunities. We're going to delve into the art of adapting and adjusting, and how cultivating this skill can become a cornerstone of your personal growth and success. Think about the last time you faced a significant obstacle or setback. How did you respond? Many of us tend to view such challenges as roadblocks, things that stand in the way of our progress and success. But what if we could shift our perspective? What if, instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, we could view them as opportunities for growth and learning? This shift in perspective is at the heart of what we'll be exploring in this chapter. It's about developing a mindset that not only tolerates change, but thrives on it. In our rapidly evolving world, the ability to adapt and adjust isn't just a useful skill, it's an essential one. But why is this ability so crucial? The answer lies in the nature of our modern world. Change is no longer the exception, it's the rule. Technologies evolve at a breakneck pace, industries transform overnight, and global events can reshape our lives in ways we never anticipated. In this context, rigidity becomes a liability. Those who cling too tightly to their plans and expectations often find themselves left behind, struggling to catch up with a world that's moved on without them. On the other hand, those who cultivate flexibility find themselves uniquely positioned to thrive. They're able to pivot when circumstances change, to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. This adaptability doesn't just help them survive in a changing world, it allows them to flourish, turning challenges into stepping stones for growth and success. But how do we develop this ability to adapt and adjust? The answer lies in understanding and applying the principles of resilience theory. Resilience, in psychological terms, isn't just about bouncing back from adversity. It's about bouncing forward, using challenges as catalysts for growth and development. Resilience has several key components. There's emotional resilience, which involves managing our emotional responses to stress and adversity. Mental resilience is about maintaining a positive and realistic outlook in the face of challenges. And behavioral resilience is the ability to take effective action even in difficult circumstances. Developing a resilient mindset involves cultivating certain key traits. These include optimism, the ability to regulate emotions, cognitive flexibility, and a sense of self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to handle challenges. It also involves developing a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. One powerful tool for building resilience is what I call the resilience jar. This is a simple yet effective way to track your adaptations and pivots, creating a tangible record of your growth and flexibility. To create your resilience jar, start with a clear container. A mason jar works well, but any container will do. Each time you successfully adapt to a change or overcome an obstacle, write down what happened and how you adjusted on a small slip of paper. Fold it up and add it to your jar. The power of the resilience jar lies not just in recording these moments, but in reflecting on them over time. As your jar fills up, you create a visual representation of your growing adaptability. Periodically, perhaps once a month, take some time to review the contents of your jar. Read through your past adaptations and pivots. What patterns do you notice? What strategies have been most effective for you? This reflection process helps reinforce your adaptive skills and builds confidence in your ability to handle future challenges. Another powerful technique for building adaptability is the obstacle simulation exercise. This involves intentionally introducing controlled challenges into your routine to practice your adaptive skills. Start by choosing a routine task or activity. Now, think about how you could add a constraint or challenge to this task. Perhaps you could try completing it in half the usual time, or without using a tool you normally rely on. The key is to design challenges that push you out of your comfort zone, but are still achievable. As you engage with these simulated obstacles, pay attention to how you respond. What strategies do you use to adapt? How do you feel as you work through the challenge? This exercise not only builds your problem-solving skills, but also helps you become more comfortable with discomfort and change. As you practice these techniques, you'll likely find yourself becoming more adept at learning from setbacks. This is a crucial skill in building resilience. The key is to reframe failures not as endpoints, but as feedback, valuable information that can guide your future efforts. When you encounter a setback, take a step back and analyze it objectively. What went wrong? What factors contributed to the outcome? Most importantly, what can you learn from this experience that will help you moving forward? By approaching setbacks with this mindset, you transform them from discouraging failures into valuable learning opportunities. Of course, managing our emotional response to setbacks is often easier said than done. This is where strategies for emotional regulation become crucial. One effective technique is the RAIN method. Recognize the emotion you're feeling, allow it to be there without judgment, investigate its source and effects, and non-identify with it. Remember that you are not your emotions. Another powerful tool for building resilience is the practice of daily resilience reflections. Set aside a few minutes each day to reflect on how you've adapted to challenges, no matter how small. What obstacles did you face? How did you respond? What did you learn? Over time, this practice helps you become more aware of your adaptive capabilities and builds confidence in your ability to handle future challenges. Adaptive thinking drills can also be incredibly helpful. These involve practicing flexible thinking in low-stakes situations. For example, you might challenge yourself to come up with multiple solutions to a hypothetical problem or to view a situation from several different perspectives. The goal is to train your mind to think flexibly and creatively, skills that become invaluable when facing real-world challenges. As you continue to practice these techniques, you're likely to notice a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll probably find that you're better able to handle unexpected changes. Things that might have thrown you off balance before now feel more manageable. You're able to pivot more quickly and with less stress when plans change or obstacles arise. As you progress, you may notice that your problem-solving skills and overall flexibility have significantly improved. You're able to approach challenges from multiple angles, coming up with creative solutions that you might not have considered before. You find yourself less rattled by setbacks, able to maintain your composure and think clearly even in stressful situations. The ultimate outcome of mastering adaptability is the ability to thrive in the face of adversity. This doesn't mean that challenges become easy or that you never feel stressed. Rather, it means that you're able to use adversity as a catalyst for growth. You become someone who not only survives in a changing world, but flourishes, turning obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. Of course, like any significant change, developing adaptability comes with its challenges. You might find yourself resistant to change, especially if you're someone who values stability and routine. If this is the case, try exposing yourself to new experiences gradually. Start small, take a different route to work, try a new hobby, or engage with a viewpoint different from your own. Over time, these small exposures can help you become more comfortable with change and uncertainty. Another common issue is feeling overwhelmed by obstacles, especially when facing multiple challenges at once. In these situations, it's important to break challenges down into manageable parts. Focus on one aspect at a time and don't hesitate to seek support if you need it. Remember, resilience isn't about facing everything alone. It's about knowing how to utilize your resources effectively, including the support of others. Negative self-talk during setbacks can also be a significant hurdle. Our inner critic often becomes loudest when we're facing challenges, which can undermine our confidence and resilience. To combat this, practice positive affirmations and focus on your past successes. Remind yourself of times when you've successfully adapted to challenges in the past. This can help boost your confidence and counteract negative self-talk. As we conclude this chapter, take a moment to reflect on how the principles of adaptability might apply to your own life. How might your approach to challenges change if you viewed them as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to be avoided? How could embracing flexibility enhance your personal and professional life? Remember, developing adaptability isn't about eliminating stability from your life or constantly seeking out upheaval. It's about cultivating the inner resources to navigate change effectively when it does occur. It's about building the confidence to know that whatever comes your way, you have the ability to adapt, adjust, and even thrive. As you move forward, carrying this new understanding of adaptability, you're preparing yourself for the next crucial step in your journey. The path ahead involves a practice that might seem simple at first glance, but which holds the power to fundamentally shift your relationship with your own growth and progress. Are you ready to discover how a small shift in focus could dramatically enhance your motivation and satisfaction? The next chapter awaits, promising to unveil a perspective that could revolutionize how you approach your personal development journey. Chapter 8. Celebrate the process. Have you ever felt like you're on a never-ending treadmill, constantly striving for the next goal, the next achievement, without ever feeling truly satisfied? It's a common experience in our results-driven world. We're often so focused on reaching our destinations that we forget to appreciate the journey itself. But what if I told you that the key to lasting fulfillment and sustained motivation lies not in the outcomes we achieve, but in the very process of working towards them? In this chapter, we're going to explore a concept that might seem counterintuitive at first, but which has the power to transform not just how you approach your goals, but how you experience your entire journey of personal growth. We're going to delve into the art of celebrating the process and how this simple shift in focus can become a powerful catalyst for sustained motivation and deep personal satisfaction. Think about the last time you achieved a significant goal. How long did that sense of accomplishment last? For many of us, the joy of achievement is fleeting. We quickly move on to the next target, never fully savoring our successes or appreciating the effort that went into them. This constant forward momentum can leave us feeling empty, always chasing the next high of accomplishment without ever feeling truly fulfilled. But what if we could find joy and satisfaction not just in our achievements, but in the very act of working towards them? What if we could learn to appreciate and celebrate our efforts, our persistence, our willingness to show up day after day? This is the essence of celebrating the process. At its core, this approach is about shifting our focus from external outcomes to internal experiences. It's about recognizing that the real value lies not just in what we achieve, but in who we become as we work towards our goals. By learning to celebrate our efforts and our commitment to growth, we can tap into a wellspring of intrinsic motivation that can sustain us through challenges and setbacks. But why is this shift in focus so important? The answer lies in understanding the nature of motivation itself. Psychologists often distinguish between two types of motivation: extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards or pressures, things like money, praise, or the fear of punishment. While these can be powerful motivators in the short term, they often lead to a sense of emptiness or burnout over time. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, comes from within. It's the satisfaction we feel when we engage in an activity for its own sake, because we find it inherently rewarding or meaningful. When we're intrinsically motivated, we don't need external rewards to keep us going. The process itself becomes its own reward. By celebrating the process, we're essentially training ourselves to tap into this intrinsic motivation. We're learning to find joy and satisfaction in the act of showing up, of putting in effort, of committing to our own growth. This shift can have profound psychological benefits. It can increase our resilience in the face of setbacks, boost our overall sense of well-being, and help us maintain motivation over the long term. So, how do we put this principle into practice? One powerful approach is to design an effort-based reward system. This involves setting up a structure where you reward yourself not for achieving specific outcomes, but for putting in consistent effort and staying committed to your goals. The key to making this system effective is to identify rewards that are meaningful to you personally. These don't have to be material rewards. In fact, non-material incentives often work best. It could be something as simple as allowing yourself guilt-free time for a favorite hobby, or treating yourself to a relaxing bath after a week of consistent effort. When setting up your reward system, it's important to define clear criteria for what constitutes reward-worthy effort. This might involve setting daily or weekly targets for time spent working towards your goals, or defining specific actions that demonstrate commitment to your growth. The important thing is to make these criteria based on factors within your control, your effort and commitment, rather than on outcomes that may be influenced by external factors. Another powerful tool for celebrating the process is the daily effort reflection beads chain. This simple yet effective technique involves creating a visual representation of your consistent effort over time. To set this up, choose a string or cord and a set of beads that appeal to you. Each day that you put in effort towards your goals, add a bead to your chain. The power of this technique lies in its simplicity and tangibility. As your chain grows longer, you have a visible reminder of your commitment and consistency. It becomes a physical representation of your journey, each bead symbolizing a day when you showed up and put in the work, regardless of the outcome. Establishing a daily routine around adding beads to your chain can become a meaningful ritual of self-acknowledgement. Perhaps you add your bead each evening as part of a wind-down routine, taking a moment to reflect on your efforts that day. Or maybe you start your day by adding yesterday's bead, setting a positive tone for the day ahead. As your chain grows, take time to reflect on what it represents. Each bead is a day when you chose growth, when you committed to your journey despite challenges or distractions. This visual reminder can be incredibly motivating, especially during times when progress feels slow or when you're facing setbacks. Alongside these specific techniques, cultivating a general attitude of gratitude and appreciation can greatly enhance your ability to celebrate the process. This involves developing a habit of regularly acknowledging and appreciating your efforts, your progress, and the opportunities for growth that each day brings. One effective way to do this is through a daily gratitude practice. This might involve keeping a gratitude journal where you regularly write down things you're grateful for, with a specific focus on acknowledging your own efforts and growth. Even just taking a few moments each day to mentally note 3 things you appreciate about your journey can have a powerful impact on your mindset. It's also important to learn to acknowledge your personal growth. Often, the changes we experience as we work towards our goals are subtle and easy to overlook. Take time regularly to reflect on how you've changed and grown. What new skills have you developed? How has your mindset shifted? What challenges can you now handle that once seemed overwhelming? While much of celebrating the process is about internal acknowledgement, sharing and connecting with others can also play a valuable role. Building a supportive community of like-minded individuals can provide encouragement, accountability, and shared celebration of efforts and progress. This might involve joining or creating a group focused on personal growth, where members can share their experiences, challenges, and victories. Or it could be as simple as finding an accountability partner with whom you can regularly check in and celebrate your consistent efforts. Encouraging others in their journeys can also be a powerful way to reinforce your own commitment to celebrating the process. As you share your insights and practices with others, you not only help them, but also deepen your own understanding and appreciation of the principle. To help integrate these concepts into your daily life, consider implementing some practical exercises. Set up a gratitude journal and commit to writing in it regularly, focusing specifically on appreciating your efforts and the opportunities for growth you encounter each day. Explore group activities for shared celebration, such as regular check-ins with an accountability partner or group sharing sessions where everyone gets to acknowledge their efforts and progress. Also, develop techniques for self-acknowledgement that resonate with you personally. This might involve creating a personal mantra that reminds you of the value of your efforts, or establishing a weekly ritual where you review and celebrate your commitment to your journey. As you continue to practice celebrating the process, you're likely to experience a range of positive outcomes. At a basic level, you'll probably notice increased motivation and satisfaction from recognizing your efforts. The simple act of acknowledging your commitment can provide a boost of encouragement that helps you stay on track with your goals. As you progress, you may find that you develop a stronger commitment to personal growth through regular celebration. By consistently reinforcing the value of your efforts, you create a positive feedback loop that encourages continued engagement with your development journey. The ultimate outcome of mastering the art of celebrating the process is a deep sense of fulfillment and joy derived from the journey itself. This isn't about ignoring outcomes or never setting goals. Rather, it's about finding satisfaction and meaning in the very act of working towards those goals. When you can truly celebrate the process, you create a sustainable approach to personal development that can carry you through challenges and setbacks, leading to long-term growth and fulfillment. Of course, like any significant shift in mindset, learning to celebrate the process comes with its challenges. You might find yourself falling into the trap of overemphasizing rewards, which can actually diminish intrinsic motivation over time. If you notice this happening, take a step back and reassess your reward system. Ensure that your rewards are closely aligned with effort and personal meaning, rather than being overly lavish or disconnected from the process itself. Another common pitfall is neglecting to celebrate small efforts. It's easy to overlook the value of daily actions when they don't immediately lead to visible results. To combat this, set reminders to acknowledge your daily efforts. This could be as simple as setting a daily alarm on your phone to prompt a moment of reflection and self-acknowledgement. You might also find yourself falling into the trap of comparing your progress with others, which can lead to discouragement. Remember, the whole point of celebrating the process is to focus on your personal journey. If you catch yourself making comparisons, gently redirect your focus back to your own path and milestones. Celebrate your progress relative to where you started, not relative to anyone else's journey. As we conclude this chapter, take a moment to reflect on how the principle of celebrating the process might apply to your own life. How might your approach to personal growth change if you focused more on acknowledging your efforts and less on achieving specific outcomes. How could celebrating the process enhance your motivation and overall satisfaction with your journey? Remember, learning to celebrate the process isn't about ignoring results or never setting goals. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the journey itself, about recognizing that every step you take towards your goals is valuable and worthy of celebration. By shifting your focus in this way, you're not just working towards your goals, you're transforming your entire experience of personal growth and development. As you move forward, carrying this new appreciation for the process, you're preparing yourself for the final step in our journey together. The path ahead involves a profound shift in perspective that has the power to transform not just how you approach personal growth, but how you view your entire life journey. Are you ready to discover how all the principles we've explored come together to create a truly transformative approach to personal development? The final chapter awaits, promising to unveil a perspective that could revolutionize how you understand and experience your own growth and potential. Chapter 9. End with Growth. As we reach the final chapter of our journey together, it's time to pause and reflect on the transformative power of the path we've traveled. Throughout this book, we've explored various strategies and mindsets that can revolutionize your approach to personal growth and achievement. But perhaps the most profound realization is this: the true magic doesn't lie in reaching a specific destination, but in who you become along the way. Think back to where you were when you first opened this book. What were your expectations? What challenges were you facing? Now, consider who you are at this moment. The very fact that you've committed to this journey of self-discovery and growth speaks volumes about your character and your potential. The principles and practices we've explored throughout these chapters are more than just tools for achieving goals. They're catalysts for profound personal transformation. By embracing a process-oriented mindset, you've opened yourself up to a world of possibilities. You've learned to find purpose in your actions, to embrace the journey with all its twists and turns, and to detach from rigid expectations of outcomes. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering. It frees you from the tyranny of external validation and allows you to find satisfaction and motivation in the very act of growth itself. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstances or outcomes beyond your control. Instead, you've developed the ability to find meaning and opportunity in every experience, whether it's perceived as a success or a setback. But the impact of this journey extends far beyond your personal achievements. As you've cultivated adaptability, resilience, and mindfulness, you've likely noticed changes in your relationships as well. The ability to remain present and engaged, to adapt to others' needs and perspectives, and to navigate conflicts with grace and flexibility, these are invaluable skills in any interpersonal interaction. Consider how your communication might have evolved. Are you more attuned to the present moment when conversing with others? Do you find yourself better able to listen without judgment, to respond with empathy and understanding? These qualities can dramatically enhance the quality of your relationships, both personal and professional. Moreover, the skills you've developed throughout this journey have equipped you to tackle challenges that might have seemed insurmountable before. You've learned to sustain motivation, not through external rewards or pressures, but through a deep connection to your own growth process. This intrinsic motivation is a powerful force, capable of carrying you through even the toughest obstacles. You've also cultivated the ability to navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease. In a world that's constantly changing, this adaptability is perhaps one of the most valuable skills you can possess. You're no longer rigid in your expectations or easily thrown off course by unexpected events. Instead, you've learned to flow with change, to find opportunities in challenges, and to maintain your equilibrium even in turbulent times. As you continue to practice the concepts we've explored, you'll likely find that you're able to achieve better results with less and less effort. This isn't because the work becomes easier, but because you become more efficient and effective in your approach. The habits you've built create momentum, carrying you forward even when motivation wanes. Moreover, you'll start to experience growth as a natural byproduct of your mindset. Rather than something you have to constantly strive for, growth becomes an inherent part of how you approach life. Every experience, every interaction, every challenge becomes an opportunity for learning and development. Take a moment now to reflect on your personal transformation. How has your mindset shifted since beginning this journey? What changes have you noticed in your behavior, your reactions, your approach to challenges? Remember, progress isn't always linear or easily measurable. Sometimes the most profound changes are the subtle shifts in how we perceive and interact with the world around us. To help solidify your reflections and create a touchstone for future motivation, I encourage you to write a journey reflection letter. This letter, addressed to your future self, should capture the essence of what you've learned and experienced throughout this process. Write about specific experiences that stood out to you, insights that particularly resonated, and moments of breakthrough or realization. Express the lessons you've learned, not just intellectually, but emotionally and practically. How have these principles changed your day-to-day life? What new perspectives have you gained? What challenges have you overcome? This letter isn't just a record of your journey, it's a powerful tool for future motivation. In moments of doubt or difficulty, revisiting this letter can remind you of how far you've come and reignite your commitment to growth. As you look to the future, it's important to develop a plan for continued practice and growth. Identify areas where you want to continue developing. Perhaps there are certain principles from the book that you want to explore more deeply, or new challenges you want to tackle with your newfound skills. Create a roadmap for your ongoing growth journey. Set new intentions, not as rigid goals, but as directions for exploration and development. Outline actionable steps you can take to continue applying these principles in your life. Remember, the journey of growth is ongoing. There is no final destination, only continuous evolution. Embrace this concept of continuous evolution. Understand that growth isn't a linear path with a clear endpoint, but a cyclical process of learning, applying, reflecting, and refining. Stay open to new experiences and perspectives. The more you expose yourself to diverse ideas and challenges, the more opportunities you create for growth and development. As we conclude our journey together, I want to reaffirm the core message of this book. The true value lies in the process, not just the outcome. Every step you take, every challenge you face, every moment of doubt or triumph, these are all integral parts of your growth journey. They are all shaping you, molding you into the person you are becoming. Your dedication to this process is commendable. It speaks to your courage, your willingness to challenge yourself, and your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, growth isn't always comfortable or easy, but it is always worthwhile. As you move forward from here, carry with you the lessons you've learned. Let them inform your actions, guide your decisions, and shape your perspective. But also remain open to new insights and experiences. The journey of growth is never truly over. There are always new heights to reach, new challenges to overcome, new aspects of yourself to discover and develop. In essence, you are becoming the result, not a static final version of yourself, but a dynamic, ever-evolving being who is constantly growing, learning, and adapting. You are the embodiment of the growth mindset, the living proof of the power of embracing the process. This is the stunning, high-value payoff of your journey, the transformation of your very being. You've not just learned new skills or strategies, you've fundamentally altered how you approach life itself. You've developed the ability to find purpose in every action, to embrace change with open arms, to find flow in your efforts, and to celebrate every step of your journey. You've become someone who doesn't just achieve goals, but who grows through the very process of pursuit. You've cultivated resilience that will carry you through life's challenges, adaptability that will help you thrive in an ever-changing world, and a deep sense of intrinsic motivation that will fuel your continued growth. This transformation isn't just about personal achievement. It's about becoming someone who can positively impact the world around you. Your growth ripples outward, influencing your relationships, your work, and your community. You've become a beacon of continuous improvement, inspiring others through your commitment to growth and your ability to find meaning and opportunity in every experience. As you close this book, remember that this isn't an ending, but a beginning. You're stepping out into the world with new eyes, new skills, and a new understanding of your own potential. The journey ahead is filled with endless possibilities for growth and discovery. Embrace it with open arms, trust in the process, celebrate every step, and above all, keep growing, keep evolving, keep becoming. For in the end, you are not just achieving results, you are becoming the result. And that result is a constantly evolving, ever-improving, deeply fulfilled version of yourself. The journey continues, and you are more than ready for whatever comes next. Go forth and grow. But as you embark on this new chapter of your life, armed with the tools and mindsets we've explored, you might find yourself wondering, how do I truly embody these changes at my core? It's one thing to know the principles, but another to fully integrate them into your identity. What if there was a way to not just act differently, but to fundamentally become the person who naturally lives these principles? The key to unlocking your full potential and making the most of everything you've learned lies in a powerful process known as identity shifting. To discover how to reinvent yourself and align your deepest self with your newfound wisdom in just 30 days, dive into the audiobook, Identity Shifting, the New Way to Reinvent Yourself in 30 Days. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.